I'm really privileged in that I get to coach a lot of very, very high level dudes. I've coached guys who have multi-million dollar businesses. I've coached guys who are pretty close to billionaires. I've coached a lot of really, really high level dudes. In fact, in the coaching space, if you see someone who's doing well, there's a fair chance that I've coached them, right? And I've had a really, really cool bit of exposure to these guys, which has taught me a lot about the way they think. So this video is going to be on what is the mindset? What mindset does it take in order to be successful? I'm going to learn from these guys. Now, on the same time, I've also coached people who haven't done so well and haven't been doing so well. So I'm going to teach you about their stuff as well so that you can look from that and then hopefully not make the same mistakes as them. So first of all, let's start off with the negatives. In terms of mindset issues that people have, which prevent them from getting to 6 figures, 7 figures, and 8 figures, let's go and start with number one. First thing, I mentioned it before, scarcity. If we're always coming from scarcity, if we're always coming from a place of need, if we're always thinking that we don't have enough and we're anxious and we're nervous and we're flighty, then we're not going to do very well. And here's why. If you look at life with a mindset of scarcity, people are not going to be attracted to you. How many times do you look at someone and engage in a conversation with somebody who's really anxious and really fearful and is always worried about money and is always second guessing everything that they've done? How many times do you look at those people in that conversation and think, oh yeah, I really want to get coached about you because you sound like you've got life sorted? Never. Clients are not going to come to you if you have that mentality. That's a really, really big one. Next one after that, consistency. People who cannot be consistent will always fail. A lot of people always try, we get shiny object syndrome. We do this and we do this and we do this and we do this and we do this. And what happens is instead of doing one thing and executing it perfectly, we do like 1,000 things and do none of them well. I used to be the biggest offender of this, and it made my business spin its wheels continually over and over and over. Be consistent. Get your mindset to narrow in on what you need to do, follow exactly what we say, and you will be successful. And the third thing is wanting everything now and having a short-term mindset instead of thinking for the long term. Our business is doing 30% month-on-month growth at the moment. Now, I don't know if you know much about business growth, but really good growth is like 5%, right? So we're doing 6 times that, 30%. That means if our business does $100,000 a month, the next month it does $130,000, right? So that's a really significant jump. We're effectively doubling the size of our business every 2 and a bit months, okay? Very, very rapid growth. And the reason why we've been able to do that is because instead of me thinking about short term and worrying about money, worrying about making a quick buck, I started thinking long term. I started making long-term plays. And why I did this was because I started studying more and more business owners, and I started seeing that the ones who were focused on the short term never got big growth. But the guys who focused on the long term, think Amazon and think Jeff Bezos, think Alex Hormozi, think your Matthew Writers, your Matthew Burns. Think about those sorts of people and those companies. They're all thinking long-term and how can they make the biggest long-term plays. Guys, I don't want you to be thinking about how you can make $100,000 as quickly as possible. I want you to think about how can you make $1 million, $5 million, $10 million in 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, because that's what's going to set you up for life instead of working around in the mud trying to make $100,000 and just fighting for that $100,000. Does that make sense? Now let's flip it around. Let's go for the positive side of things in terms of mindset hacks and mindset ways of thinking that you can use so you can imitate some of the most successful people in the world. Step number 1, always view life with the glass half full. Always be positive, always be upbeat. The more positive, the more upbeat you are, the more good things start happening to you. Second thing after this, always be steadfast in your decision making. Make it so that the decisions that you make, you back and you go relentlessly. And once you've made a decision, execute on it. The difference between success and failure in business is execution and your ability to continually execute at a very, very high level. The reason why we're successful and we've done very well is because my whole team are awesome. All of us execute at a high level. If we say we're going to do something, we do it. We stick to our word. Integrity is absolutely massive, and we get things done as well as possible, as quickly as possible. And the third thing, Think long term, super, super long term. Don't be worried about the here and now. Don't be worried if you're not making sales today, if you're not making sales next week. Don't be worried about that. Set up plays to make it so that you're making 10 sales in a month or 2 months or 3 months. Start setting it up. Build your foundations really, really strong and think about creating a $10 million business, not a $50,000 business. Does that make sense? I hope this helps you guys, because if you can stick to this, if you can follow these mindset principles, you will be successful no matter what.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got something out of it and you want to learn more, click the link below or type in High Performance Conversations with James Cant and you'll be able to check out all the podcasts that we've done. We cover a stack of different topics, everything from getting your mojo back, overcoming anxiety, self-doubt, self-esteem, and learning from some of the industries and some of the world's top performers in both business and in health. Look forward to having you on there.